First tonight,
PLPs and people of goodwill, I verily believe that this story arising out of the plane crash will become a big fat nothing burger when the truth comes out.
the PLP chairman weighing in on the Election Day plane crash, calling it a misadventure. Plus, the newly expanded cabinet of 21. First tonight,
PLPs and people of goodwill, I verily believe that this story arising out of the plane crash will become a big fat nothing burger when the truth comes out.
the PLP chairman weighing in on the Election Day plane crash, calling it a misadventure. Plus, the newly expanded cabinet of 21 portfolio ministers and 7 ministers of state convened for the first cabinet meeting under the newest Davis administration. And then a luxury beach club resort in Abaco continuing calls for the redevelopment of the Treasure Key Airport. And then in our news at 7:30, the latest numbers from the Bahamas National Statistical Institute show the Bahamian economy expanded more than economists expected in 2025. We have the details for these stories and more as our News Live at 7 starts now. Welcome to our News Live at 7. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepard. Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Fred Mitchell insisting the story surrounding an Election Day plane crash will turn out to be a big, fat nothing burger once all is revealed about the case that's grabbed international headlines. On May 12th, the plane that was headed from Abaco to Grand Bahama went down in American waters, leading to the rescue of 11 Bahamians on board by the U.S. Coast Guard. It was later revealed that the passengers included party supporters and Jonathan Eric Gardner, who was traveling with $30,000 in cash. He has since been charged in the U.S. with cocaine importation conspiracy. Mitchell says he believes more will be revealed to confirm the case isn't what the F&M is claiming.
PLPs and people of goodwill, I verily believe that this story arising out of the plane crash will become a big fat nothing burger when the truth comes out. I have no first-hand knowledge of this, but the truth without, I'm satisfied. The PLP, though, has its work to do, and it should get on with its work and not be distracted. Work must continue. The F&M should come to accept that they have lost and accept the decision of the Bahamian people. It's PLP 33, F&M 8. That's it, folks.
Mitchell also accused the F&M of being unwilling to accept their defeat at the polls on May 12, accusing them of trying to use the Election Day plane crash as a political ploy. He went on to call the Election Day plane crash a happenstance.
But they do not accept that they have lost. And like donkeys braying at the moon, they're engaging like pot-cake dogs after you've left the yard, barking from the sidelines. All campaign long, they were hoping that the U.S. ambassador and the United States government, supported by the local and international and U.S. press, would intervene to cause some fatal blow to the PLP's election chances. That failed during the campaign, but on Election Day there was a misadventure of a plane crash and cash found allegedly with a politician's name on it, unnamed. And this is what the F&M needed. Hallelujah, they thought. God is good. Except that over the course of the story unfolding, it seems pretty clear it was just an accident, happenstance, and misadventure.
Well, it was the first day on the job for some, while back to work for others in the new Davis administration's cabinet. The Office of the Prime Minister releasing these images of today's first cabinet meeting since the May 12th re-election of the Progressive Liberal Party 2 weeks ago today. Prime Minister Philip Davis officially completed the appointments just ahead of the opening of Parliament last Wednesday. The new composition included a return to some portfolios like Clay Sweeting, Pia Glover-Roll, and Fred Mitchell, with sub-modifications, while Glenys Hanna-Martin and Chester Cooper swapped education and tourism. Wayne Monroe moves to Attorney General, joined in his Senate and ministerial appointments by newcomer Barbara Cartwright. The newly expanded cabinet has grown to 29 members, 21 portfolio ministers, and 7 ministers of state. Critics quickly highlighting the size of the cabinet, pointing out that existing statutory provisions traditionally dictate far fewer members of the executive team. This specific ministerial roster sits at approximately $1.892 million in salaries. But proponents of the new cabinet say it tackles modernized pillars of national development, including green energy, land reform, and digital innovation. 2 brand new ministries include a dedicated culture minister, as well as innovation and national development, which have been welcomed as long overdue in a modern Bahamas. The Prime Minister will have no ministerial portfolio in this new grouping. Now, today's meeting is also ahead of tomorrow's budget presentation. Following that presentation in the House of Assembly, members will return for the budget debate, allowing these new and returning ministers to speak to individual portfolios. That budget debate will give the public its first glimpse of newcomers on the floor of this new parliament. A breath of fresh air. That's how one union chief is describing the appointment of Michael Halkitis as Minister of Finance. And while unionists typically deal with the Minister of Public Service, a good communication with the Finance Minister is also important, as they are also responsible for thousands of public servants. Our Joshua Williams tells us more.
Bahamas Public Services Union President Kimsley Ferguson welcoming the appointment of Michael Halkitis as Finance Minister under this latest Davis administration. It's not a completely new post to Halkitis. He served as State Minister during the Christie administration from 2012 to 2017. As it relates to union matters, Ferguson has openly expressed his frustration with the process the Ministry of Finance takes. A ministry previously led by Prime Minister Philip Davis, Ferguson says he hopes that going forward, certain matters that need to be taken care of can be sped up.
It's a breath of fresh air to some extent, because I honestly was thinking that the financial secretary was the Minister of Finance during the last 5-year period. I'm hopeful that we get a different response. I know for a fact that there were quite a number of persons attached to the cabinet that had a brush with their financial issues in that regard. And so I'm hopeful that that would be changed and that the responses towards the issues regarding finance would be different.
And with any new minister comes the possibility of new ideas and legislation.
Also, any policies that would be made or created during Mr. Halkitis' tenure, I would be hopeful that the unions would be able to peruse those policies, particularly those that directly affect the people that we do represent. And so I believe that the task is in front of the new administration, and I think they're in a better position now because they know the stuff that was left on the table, and they can pick up from where they left off.
Ferguson has been on record saying he doesn't believe the Ministries of Labour and Public Service should be combined, let alone be joined with the National Insurance Board, adding it's a lot on one minister's plate. He says he's hoping Halkitis isn't overwhelmed as well by his new portfolio.
I found the Honourable Michael Halkitis to be a reasonable individual. However, I know sometimes when your portfolio becomes huge, you're not sufficient to share around so that people can have their concerns addressed. But I believe that he would be up to the task. Again, let me say congratulations to him.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks so much, Josh. Well, just days before the start of the official hurricane season, Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister, Michael Barnaby, has been tasked with responsibility of disaster risk management. The appointment adds another major portfolio to Barnaby's resume, following his tenure as Executive Director of the Bahamas Public Beaches and Parks Authority during the last Davis-led administration. His departure from that post comes amid controversy and continued questions surrounding more than $141 million in alleged overspending at the authority. And while Barnaby has not publicly acknowledged his new portfolio, the Disaster Risk Management Authority confirmed the appointment on its Facebook page. Well, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is advising Bahamian nationals to avoid all travel to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, South Sudan, and Uganda due to the Ebola outbreak, which has now been declared a global public health emergency by the World Health Organization. Travelers are also urged to use extreme caution when visiting several nearby African nations, including Kenya, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Angola, Burundi, Zambia, and Rwanda. Meanwhile, Bahamians arriving from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Uganda, or South Sudan within 21 days will face enhanced health screenings with possible quarantine or isolation, while foreign nationals arriving from those countries within 30 days may also be subject to screening and quarantine measures. Well, a 43-year-old Haitian woman has denied trying to smuggle a large sum of money out of the country. Simone Thelemond was headed to Haiti when police arrested her on May 23rd at the Lyndon Pinling International Airport after allegedly finding $73,000 in her luggage. Now, it's not illegal to travel with large sums of money, but travelers are required to declare amounts over $10,000. Thelemond pleaded not guilty to the charge of failing to declare at her arraignment before Assistant Chief Magistrate Cara Turnquest DeVoe. She was granted $8,000 bail, and her trial is set for August 24th. Well, the boating capital of the Bahamas, Abaco, continues to rank among the leading tourist destinations in the country, despite suffering major setbacks and damage during Hurricane Dorian. Tonight, executives at a well-known resort sharing with our Danielle Miller their journey of redevelopment. But they say, despite the positives, their guests continue to face a significant challenge.
Situated on the beachfront of Treasure Key, Abaco, Bahama Beach Club Resort is regarded luxurious family accommodations. The powder pink condominiums attract tourists from around the globe, with a significant portion of their clientele coming from the United States. This includes Academy Award nominated actor Andy Garcia, who hosts his family reunions at the property. But Assistant Manager Serenity Forbes tells me that following the passage of Hurricane Dorian in 2019, the resort was left ravaged.
They had to put in new roofs, some new walls, but they were fully gutted and fully repaired.
She says rebuilding began in 2021 and was finalized by the end of that same year. Shortly after, they were able to reopen their doors and resume normal operation. Here's Vice President Natalie Curry.
Our marketing team got right on the ball in targeting different visitors such as destination weddings, persons from Europe, all over, targeting our repeat guests.
The women sharing with me that since resuming operations, guests' main grievance has revolved around the aviation industry. Following the shutdown of Silver Airways in 2025, direct flights from the United States to the island have become a challenge, and coupled with the increasing cost of airline tickets, they assert that it is impacting expenses for visitors. Additionally, there still remains the state of the Treasure Key Airport.
I'd also like to add that Marsh Harbor is the only airport that's open now on the island of Abaco. Prior to Hurricane Dorian, Treasure Key Airport was open with commercial flights landing directly in Treasure Key, which is only 15 minutes away from us, Green Turtle Key Ferry Dock.
In 2021, during the Minnis administration, the then Director of Aviation, Algernon Cargill, announced that the airport would undergo reconstruction within a year through a $2 million public-private partnership. Since that time, under the Davis administration, the facility has been incorporated into the Family Islands Airport Renaissance program. I reached out to the Minister of Works and Family Island Affairs, Clay Sweeting, for an update, but I did not receive any response up to news time. Reporting for our news, I'm Danielle Miller.
Thanks so much for that, Danielle. Well, we've still got more news to come, but for now, meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. Greg, happy Tuesday. How's it looking?
Yeah, thanks, Megan. Another warm and breezy evening on the outdoors. 84 degrees is our current temperature with an east-south-east wind at 20 miles per hour. Feels like temperature on the outside. Feels like 87 degrees. Temperatures right now around the Family of Islands. Low to mid-80s across the chain of islands with 83 in Freeport, Grand Bahama. 82s in Marsh Harbor, Abaco, Governors Harbor, Eleuthera. We pick up 83. Great Harbor, Key, the Berry Islands. Over in Alistown, Bimini. In Nicholstown, Andros, and here in the capital, all 84s there. Central Bahamas, 84 once again in Kemps Bay, that's in South Andros, Deadman's Key, Long Island, Georgetown, Exuma, as well as in Port Nelson, Rum Key, and in Arthurstown, Kid Island. Black Point, Exuma Keys, 83. Over in Coburn Downs and Salvador, 82 there. 82 in Duncantown, Ragged Island. 84s in Colonel Hill, Cricket Island, Delectable Bay, that's in Acklands. Abrahams Bay, Maguana, Providenciales, Tricks, and Kickers Islands. Matthew Town, Inagua, deep south, you are the warmest spot at 85 degrees. Satellite radar composite, we do have that ridge of high pressure still in charge of our weather. That's keeping us with a tight pressure gradient across us, resulting in some very breezy conditions across the chain of islands. So beaching and boating still are hazardous conditions out there. So we're asking you to continue to exercise caution. Some quick moving showers, but we are continuing to watch that blob of moisture in the Gulf of Mexico, expected to be approaching the Florida Panhandle and as well as the Florida Peninsula over the next couple of days. But by the weekend, we do expect an increase in some showers. So if you have plans for the weekend, you may have to make some changes during that time frame. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Coming up in sports, it's been a struggle for JJ and the Liberty. It's been a struggle for Jazz and the Yankees. Everyone else in New York apparently has to catch up to the Knicks. Not fun.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
It only takes a second for things to go wrong. Are you prepared? Don't become a statistic. Follow these simple rules. Leave early, obey road signs, wear seatbelts, invest in hands-free devices, and don't drink and drive. I'm Inspector Gerard Cum of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, reminding you that road safety is no accident.
Conflict doesn't have to end in chaos. Before it escalates, take a breath. Step back. Choose peace. Listen to understand. Respectful conversations lead to real solutions. I am Sergeant 3599 Johnson of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, urging you, let's talk it out, not fight it out.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. Nobody expected the Liberty to lose back-to-back games this early in the WNBA season. Are there legitimate basketball reasons why this happened? Maybe. Are we going to panic and overreact? Absolutely. This is terrifying. So Jonquel Jones did her part Monday night, but the New York Liberty apparently forgot that they had to finish things off in the fourth quarter. Jones finished with a double-double, 12 points, a game-high 11 boards, and a game-high 4 blocks. But New York fell 81-74 to the Portland Fire for their third straight loss. The counting stats have been better for Jazz, but it hasn't translated to wins for the Yankees. 4-6 in their last 10, but they opened a 3-game set on the road yesterday in Kansas City. Chisholm and the Yankees won their 12th straight over the Kansas City Royals Monday night, rallying for a 4-3 win at Kauffman Stadium. Down 3-2 in the ninth, Jazz started the chaos with a clutch double before Anthony Volpe drove him home with the game-winning 2-run single. Facing elimination, the Fort Saumur Buyers played with their season on the line for 2 consecutive games. But they had Keno and Nato, so obviously they were going to be fine. It's on to the semifinals. Dominic Bridgewater and Keno Burrows said bonjour to the NM1 semifinals after helping Fort Saumur Buyers bounce back from a Game 1 loss to eliminate Orchez. Bridgewater went off for 17 points and 4 steals in a Game 2 win, while Burrows added 11 points and 8 boards. Then in the clincher, the Buyers handled business with Burrows scoring 8 points and Bridgewater adding 6 points and 5 assists. That'll do it for sports. If you missed us here, don't worry, we'll be back at 7:30, and I'm contractually obligated to say there will be more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world, as Iran denounced the most recent U.S. strikes as a sign of bad faith and reliability. Plus, China records its deadliest coal mine explosion in recent times, over 80 people dead and more than 100 hospitalized. And then, citizens of Barbados and Guyana will soon be able to travel between the two countries using only national identification cards. We have the details when our news returns.
Williams, I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent services, so I was very grateful that the Live Fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trey Williams, and the future is home with a Live Fiber.
Too many suffer in silence, but silence only protects the abuser. Your feelings are real. Your safety matters. It's time to break the silence. If someone is hurting you, speak up. We will listen. We will help. I am Police Constable 4286 Sinead Douglas of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Let us build safer communities together.
Joshua Williams here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button and to follow all of our social media pages. Also, don't forget to push that notification button so that you can see all of the great content from the team you already trust.
Do you think you know domestic violence? Think again.
Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. Iran on Tuesday denounced the most recent U.S. strikes as a sign of bad faith and unreliability as negotiations pressed on toward a possible deal to end the war, and the Islamic Republic began restoring internet access after one of the longest nationwide shutdowns ever. The U.S. military categorized Monday's strikes in southern Iran as defensive, saying targets included missile launch sites and mine-laying boats, and said the U.S. acted with restraint in light of the weeks-long ceasefire. Iran's foreign ministry called the strikes a ceasefire violation and warned that Washington would bear responsibility for all consequences.
The actions of the United States stand in the stark contradiction to its stated objectives and have served only to escalate tensions and deepen instability in the region. Iran's position is clear. The only viable solution in the Strait of Hormuz is a permanent end to the war, the lifting of maritime blockade, and the restoration of normal passage. Instead, the U.S. is pushing a flawed, politically motivated draft resolution under the pretext of freedom of navigation to advance its political agenda and legitimize unlawful actions, not to resolve the crisis.
A gas explosion at a coal mine in a northern China province killed at least 82 people on Friday evening in what was the country's deadliest mining accident in recent years. At a news conference on Saturday, local authorities said more than 120 people were hospitalized. The explosion remains under investigation as local officials said there were serious violations of the law by the mine's operator. They did not elaborate on any specific violations. Here's the Associated Press's Eduardo Castillo.
This tragedy became the deadliest incident in a mining situation in at least 17 years. After the explosion, President Xi Jinping ordered to do a thorough investigation, and they have been doing that. And according to some state media and some local authorities, they have found some irregularities that they need to look into, but we don't have any details yet. For the moment, some company officials have been put under detention and they have been investigated.
The United Kingdom smashed a century-old temperature record for the second time in 24 hours on Tuesday as a spring heat wave continued to scorch parts of Western Europe, triggering government warnings about risk to life. Several drownings were reported in Britain and France as people tried to cool down. A temperature of 95.2 degrees Fahrenheit was recorded at London's Kew Gardens, Britain's Met Office Weather Service said, breaking the 94.6 degrees Fahrenheit record set just a day earlier. The provisional reading smashed the long-standing record of 91.4 degrees Fahrenheit set in 1922 and matched in 1944.
I'm from California. This is like way hotter than I was expecting. People told me that London was going to be colder, but honestly, I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like I'm dying here. I love it at the same time, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's amazing, just way too hard for my taste.
Kind of excited to experience the weather here, but I mean, it is kind of nice. Like, it feels more like home, so it's like, I don't know, it's pretty chill for me.
Citizens of Barbados and Guyana will soon be able to travel between the two countries using only national identification cards under a landmark bilateral agreement. The new agreement takes effect on July 1st and will eliminate the need for passports for eligible Barbadian and Guyanese travelers, making regional travel easier and more affordable. The announcement comes as both countries celebrate 60 years of political independence from Britain this year. Officials said the move is expected to strengthen tourism, business travel, trade, cultural exchange, and family connections between the countries. Still to come in our news at 7:30, the Grand Bahama Chamber president describing the announcements made during the speech from the throne as encouraging, but he says there is still a need for greater explanation. We have the details when our news continues.
The dangers are escalating. Vaping liquid marijuana is on the rise, damaging lungs and increasing stroke risk. And a deadly new trend, lean, cough syrup, soda, and candy, a lethal combination that can cause seizures and even death. Possession means arrest and prosecution. I am Corporal 2641 Rory Fox of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Protect your loved ones. Learn more by visiting our website.
From 2017, one show has set the standard for current affairs in the Bahamas, and that's On the Record, one of the longest running current affairs shows on RTV. We've been the place where newsmakers come to talk. We've sat down with leaders in government, industry leaders, cultural icons, and international experts. From breaking news to in-depth analysis, our conversation sets the tone for the nation. We've tackled the biggest issues on the planet, held leaders accountable, and given voice to the people. From politics to culture, business to environment, no topic is off limits. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. and again on Sunday at 8 p.m. Catch us streaming live on Facebook or catch up with your favorite episode on our YouTube channel. 9 seasons strong, and we're just getting started. This is On the Record.
Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.
Every week, one show drives the national conversation. On the Record, we challenge the issues, ask the tough questions, and dig deeper. We bring in the experts, the decision makers, and the voices that matter.
All right, well, to watch any of today's top stories, be sure to visit ournews.bs or find Our News Bahamas on any of your favorite social media platforms. That does it for our news at 7. Joining us now is our Italia Hall Thomas with the latest headlines. Italia.
Happy Tuesday, Megan.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Well, the Trump administration proposing sweeping changes to the U.S. green card process. Our Jamila Mizik explores what this could mean for Bahamians living in the United States. Here are your latest headlines. First tonight on our news, live at 7:30, new figures from the Bahamas National Statistical Institute show the economy grew more than expected in 2025, marking the strongest expansion in 10 years. Our Jasmine Brown breaks down the numbers tonight. Also,
a low voter turnout, one of the stories coming out of the general election. Tonight on our news, one analyst explains why.
Plus, the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce is optimistic about government's development plans for the island of Grand Bahama, but says more clarity is needed surrounding major projects. We have the full story coming up. And later, the Trump administration proposing major changes to the U.S. green card process, raising concerns about delays and uncertainty for illegal immigrants, including Bahamians living in the United States. Our Jamila Mizik explains when our news live at 7:30 returns.
And Coca-Cola want to take you and your bestie to New Orleans. July 3rd through 5th is Essence Fest, and you could be traveling VIP style. All you gotta do is upgrade any premium lunch combo 1 through 12 or a salad to a large, like a spicy number 6, add cheese and bacon, or my personal favorite, tendies. Nola! We coming back?
Every year, car theft in the Bahamas rises. Thieves are getting smarter and faster. Is your car a target? Compact vehicles are at risk. Don't become a victim. Simple steps can make all the difference. Lock your car. Invest in anti-theft devices. Park smart. Protect yourself. Stay alert. I am PC 4392 Trayshawn Ferguson. Stay vigilant. Report suspicious activity. And let's create safer communities together. Learn more by visiting theroyalbahamaspoliceforce.org.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
The dangers are escalating. Vaping liquid marijuana is on the rise, damaging lungs and increasing stroke risk. And a deadly new trend, lean, cough syrup, soda, and candy, a lethal combination that can cause seizures and even death. Possession means arrest and prosecution. I am Corporal 2641 Rory Fox of the Royal Bahamas.
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall-Thomas. First tonight, the Bahamian economy expanded more than economists expected in 2025, recording robust growth despite ongoing impact of inflation placing a dent in shoppers' wallets. While the latest numbers from the Bahamas National Statistical Institute show it's the largest increase in a decade. Our Jasmine Brown breaks down the figures in this report.
The numbers are in, and they show an economy that's growing at a solid pace. The Bahamas National Statistical Institute releasing its advanced estimates for 2025's gross domestic product. It shows an economic expansion up from $14.6 billion in 2024 to $15.2 billion last year, marking an acceleration of 3.8% real terms growth in 2025. That figure outperformed the International Monetary Fund's projection of 2.8%. So what drove the economic growth? According to the BNSI, it was driven primarily by the financial and insurance sector, transportation and storage, accommodation and food services, and construction industries. These industries accounted for the largest share of the growth. And here's the breakdown. The financial and insurance activities sector expanded by approximately $203 million. This upward movement was driven mainly by the insurance industry subsector. The accommodation and food services sector also did well last year. It increased by approximately $79 million, while the construction sector increased by approximately $80 million. The BNSI says the increase is mirrored in the rise of imports of construction materials, and the transport and storage sector also increased by $47 million. Now, the release of the new numbers comes as the Davis administration prepares to present its budget for the 2026-2027 fiscal year in Parliament on Wednesday. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right, thanks for that in-depth report, Jasmine. While election officials are analyzing what led to lower than expected voter turnout in the 2026 general election, despite a record-breaking voter registry, just over half of registered voters cast their ballots, prompting discussion among analysts about possible factors behind the final figures. Our Joshua Williams spoke with a senior researcher at the University of the Bahamas who shared his perspective on the result.
The general election may be over, but analysis continues into what contributed to low voter turnout. While officials had pointed to a record number of registered voters, turnout fell short of expectations, as only 66% of the 200,000 plus voters showed up at the polls on election day. It's his job to make sense of the statistics, but senior research fellow at the University of the Bahamas, Dr. Ian Strawn, says in this instance, the low turnout wasn't something he expected.
Yeah, I was very surprised, given the registration picked up. I thought that we would have a rebound from what we saw after COVID. I thought the campaign would bring people out for sure and that people would vote. I was surprised. that we can't get back there. And, some of that was probably a response to the botched advance poll. Some people were on the fence.
But it's more than that, Strawn says. He believes many just believe the process isn't worth their time.
They don't have faith in the existing government. They don't have faith in the opposition parties. And they figure whatever happens won't affect me negatively or positively to any significant extent, so I don't need to engage. I've been around a while. I've been in that situation when I was younger. I didn't have a family and a mortgage. I've boycotted elections. But the older you get and the more you see that's at stake, it's hard to do. So for this many people to do that, that's really quite a signal, quite a message.
He says perhaps top of mind for voters, unkept campaign promises over the years, concerns about crime and a range of political controversies and scandals, all of which he suggests may be contributing to voters staying home. Additionally, he believes opposition parties have struggled to effectively persuade voters to shift their support or to change the status quo.
I think the COI and the FNN need to meet somewhere in the middle. For the benefit of the country. What that looks like, I don't know. But I think that would probably be something that could energize a lot of people who are disenchanted.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks so much for that, Josh. Well, the Democratic National Alliance criticizing government's expanded cabinet, calling it the largest ministerial team in Bahamian history. In a recent statement, the DNA argued that with rising living costs and pressure on public finances, the country needs a smaller executive branch. The party says this is an issue bigger than politics, and an oversized cabinet could weaken Parliament. Accountability becomes thinner, and the people of the country lose an important layer of protection. The DNA is now calling for reform, including legal limits on cabinet appointments, greater transparency on government spending, and stronger parliamentary accountability measures. Well, the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, they are welcoming the Davis administration's plan to support growth in areas of tourism, redevelopment, maritime and logistics expansion, infrastructure modernization, and investment reform on the island of Grand Bahama. They say there are still questions that need answering. In the speech from the throne delivered by Governor General Dame Cynthia Pratt, the government reiterating promises to continue development, most notably surrounding the MSC deal on the island. The Miami headquarters company acquired the Grand Lucayan and purchased, that's Concord Wilshire rather, and MSC purchased 20-acre parcel of land at the resort, the site of the former Reach Village property, with plans to transform it into the MSC Beach Club. Chamber President Ralph Hepburn says that while the announcements are encouraging, there's still a need for greater explanation.
We still need greater clarity and visible progress regarding the broader Grand Lucayan redevelopment plans and how those developments will integrate with and support the wider Freeport economy. Redevelopment of Lucayan Strip must be approached holistically to ensure long-term benefits for businesses, for residents, for tourism stakeholders, and the wider economy.
The Chamber is also reiterating the need for the redevelopment of the Grand Bahama International Airport. The facility was severely damaged during Hurricane Dorian in 2019, and while redevelopment efforts are underway, progress has been slow. And the Chamber President says questions still remain surrounding the Davis administration's acquisition of the Grand Bahama Power Company.
We also look forward to additional details regarding the long-term plans for Grand Bahama Power Company and how issues such as energy affordability, resilience, and infrastructure modernization will be addressed. The Chamber strongly supports reforms aimed at improving the ease of doing business through greater transparency, investment certainty, reduced bureaucracy, and more efficient approval process.
While the Trump administration proposing sweeping changes to the U.S. green card process that could impact thousands of legal immigrants seeking permanent residency, the move is raising concerns about longer wait times, added uncertainty, and new challenges for temporary visa holders, including Bahamians living in the United States. Our Jamila Mizik explains.
The
The Trump administration is proposing a major change to the U.S. green card process, one that could force many immigrants already living legally in the United States to leave the country before applying for permanent residency. For decades, many foreigners with legal status, including spouses of U.S. citizens, international students, temporary workers, refugees, and asylum seekers, have been able to apply for green cards without leaving the United States. But under new guidance announced by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, or USCIS, most temporary visa holders would now have to return to their home country to complete the process unless immigration officers determine there are what the agency calls extraordinary circumstances. According to the Associated Press, USCIS says temporary visas were never intended to become a pathway to permanent residency. Critics, however, argue the move could separate families, create long delays, and discourage legal immigration altogether. Former USCIS advisor Doug Rand told the Associated Press the policy appears aimed at reducing the number of people who eventually become U.S. citizens through permanent residency. Immigration lawyers also warn the policy could create major complications for applicants from countries where U.S. embassies are closed or where visa processing is severely delayed. Now, what could this mean for Bahamians currently living in the United States on temporary visas? They may face additional uncertainty if they hope to transition to permanent residency. Instead of adjusting their status from inside the U.S., many could be required to return home and apply through the U.S. Embassy in Nassau. Now, the policy has not yet taken effect, and immigration attorneys say many details remain unclear. Our News reached out to U.S. Embassy officials here in New Providence for more details, but we're told they will get back to us with a response as soon as they can. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jamila Missick.
All right, thanks for that, Jamila. Well, nice weather to kick off the work week coming off the long holiday weekend. But what else can we expect this week? Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with your first look. Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Natalia, and welcome back, everybody, on this Tuesday evening forecast. Quick look at conditions outside our studios and around the islands. 84 degrees is our current temperature with warm and breezy conditions. East-southeast winds at 20 miles per hour. Your feels-like temperature is at 87. Satellite radar composite, ridge of high pressure continues to dominate our weather with breezy conditions out there. Hazardous beaching and boating will continue for at least another day before the winds start to fall off. Quick moving showers on the breeze as well. Blob of moisture still in the Gulf of Mexico. We will watch that over the next couple of days. Should be getting closer to us by the end of the week. So we're looking for some increasing shower chances across mainly the northwest Bahamas during that time frame. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. We'll take a look at your extended forecast when we come back.
Still to come in our news, 2 tragedies within days on the island of Bimini are leaving residents shaken tonight. We hear from community members, plus the son of a Lyford Key resident is accused of attempting to kill gated community developer Tennyson Wells Jr. We'll have details on the shooting incident in the upscale community straight ahead. And later, a 31-year-old man is behind bars in connection with a murder on Dunmore Street. And that's all coming up when our news returns.
Coca-Cola want to take you and your bestie to New Orleans. July 3rd through 5th is Essence Fest, and you could be traveling VIP style. All you gotta do is upgrade any premium lunch combo 1 through 12 or a salad to a large, like a spicy number 6, add cheese and bacon, or my personal favorite, tendies. Nola! We coming back?
Good health starts with easy access.
From 2017, one show has set the standard for current affairs in the Bahamas, and that's On the Record, one of the longest running current affairs shows on RTV. We've been the place where newsmakers come to talk. We've sat down with leaders in government, industry leaders, cultural icons, and international experts. From breaking news to in-depth analysis, our conversation sets the tone for the nation. We've tackled the biggest issues on the planet, held leaders accountable, and given voice to the people.
Police say the 8-year-old Bimini boy shot over the weekend remains in stable condition after a bullet hit him in the head in a hotel room on the island around 9 on Saturday night. That is the latest in several new developments in this case we can pass along to you tonight. The boy was shot by another 12-year-old in what the authorities believe was an accidental shooting. Police immediately began looking for the gun's owner, even as the 12-year-old was taken into custody. On Monday, police released this wanted photo of 40-year-old Dexter Durrell Saunders from Allistown, Bimini. He was wanted for possession of an unlicensed firearm. Hours later, police reported he turned himself in. They've also confirmed for us that he is assisting with the investigation. The victim, who is recovering in hospital, was airlifted to a Fort Lauderdale facility for treatment after midnight on Saturday. Now, the newly elected Member of Parliament for the island, Randy Roll, releasing a statement Monday thanking emergency responders and offering his prayers and thoughts for the family. Well, this shooting comes days after another tragedy involving a young Bimini boy who drowned. Both the shooting and drowning victims attended the same school and were friends. Both incidents have shaken the Allistown community. Our news spoke with Apostle Gilbert Roll Sr., who knows both families and is witnessing this tragedy play out in real time for the victim and the young shooter.
It's a tragedy, but it was an accident, but someone was irresponsible, and this shouldn't happen to nobody. He is carrying something that a child his age has not been anointed to carry, But the reality is, this is what it is. And now we have to speak to that and make sure that we help steer him, to let him know that life is not over.
Only days ago, 7-year-old Elijah Lorfils drowned after falling into a well in Bimini. The two boys attended Gateway Christian Academy, where Lorfils was described as a top-performing student. Apostle Roll describing the young drowning victim a promising young man with a bright life ahead of him.
I spoke with the principal, and the principal said never one day he had any trouble. A very promising young man, very goodly child. But the tragedy is that he left so soon, and it just ripped heart apart. But he was an A1 student.
Well, the son of a Lyford Hills resident is accused of attempting to kill the gated developers of the community. 27-year-old Johnny Swan Jr. made his first court appearance before Acting Chief Magistrate Ancella Evans charged with the attempted murder of Tennyson Wells Jr. Wells was headed to his self-named restaurant Tennyson's in Lyford Hills when a gunman alleged to be Swan, emerged from bushes and opened fire. He was shot in the shoulder and buttocks. Swan was not required to enter a plea to the charge, and bail was denied. He returns to court on October 1st to receive voluntary bill of indictment papers. Well, a 31-year-old man is behind bars in connection with a recent murder on Dunmore Street in the capital. Prosecutors say Anton Seymour is responsible for the May 15 killing of Keno Janvier. According to police, he was shot and killed in an ambush shortly after pulling up to a home on Dunmore Street. Seymour appeared before Acting Chief Magistrate Ancella Evans, where he was not required to enter a plea to the murder charge. He's expected back in court on October 1st to receive voluntary bill of indictment papers. Well, the Court of Appeal has upheld the disbarment of a lawyer who admitted to misappropriating over $800,000 from AML Foods Limited. Back in 2017, Craig Butler was given $862,000 for the purchase of property and related expenses. Butler, who still hasn't repaid the money, unsuccessfully argued that the sanction of losing his right to practice was too harsh.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
Coming up in sports, did JJ and the Libs right the ship on the second night of a back-to-back? Did Jazz and the Yankees start the road trip with the dub? Do I continue with questions like these to make this our new thing for the teaser? Find out next. Well, find out after the commercials.
Plus, a major achievement for a young Royal Bahamas Defense Force Marine, Michael Stubbs, has been accepted into the United States Coast Guard Academy class of 2030 with a fully funded scholarship. We have the details of that story when our news returns. Stay with us.
And Coca-Cola want to take you and your bestie to New Orleans. July 3rd through 5th is Essence Fest, and you could be traveling VIP style. All you gotta do is upgrade any premium lunch combo 1 through 12 or a salad to a large, like a spicy number 6, add cheese and bacon, or my personal favorite, tendies. Nola! We coming back?
Good health starts with easy access, and that's what LAMP gives you. Affordable, reliable entry to high-quality care designed to help you stay well. With LAMP, your health journey is simplified, from routine labs and imaging to pharmacy services, urgent care, and beyond, all within the doctor's hospital health system. With plans starting at just $1.30 per day, LAMP is your guide to wellness and peace of mind for you and your family. Visit lamp.doctorshorse.com to learn more.
Don't let
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. Nobody expected the Liberty to lose back-to-back games this early in the WNBA season. Are there legitimate basketball reasons why this happened? Maybe. Are we going to panic and overreact? Absolutely. This is terrifying.
So Jonquel Jones did her part Monday night, but the New York Liberty apparently forgot that they had to finish things off in the fourth quarter. Jones finished with a double-double, 12 points, a game-high 11 boards, and a game-high 4 blocks. But New York fell 81-74 to the Portland Fire for their third straight loss. The Liberty was outscored 32-17 in the fourth, turned the ball over 19 times, and spent most of the night helping Portland's fast break get its cardio in. New York has lost 3 of their last 4, including 2 to the Fire, and have dropped below 500 heading into a 2-game set with the Phoenix Mercury later this week.
We had some ill-advised turnovers, some things that we kind of could have taken care of to help secure that lead going into late into the fourth quarter, but I think defensively, I think we still have like a whole other level that we can take it to as well. But I think, again, it's just taking care of the basketball and giving ourselves the opportunity to get shots at the rim.
The counting stats have been better for Jazz, but it hasn't translated to wins for the Yankees. 4-6 in their last 10, but they opened a 3-game set on the road yesterday in Kansas City.
Chisholm and the Yankees won their 12th straight over the Kansas City Royals Monday night, rallying for a 4-3 win at Kauffman Stadium. Down 3-2 in the ninth, Jazz started the chaos with a clutch double before Anthony Volpe drove him home with the game-winning 2-run single. Jazz scored just ahead of the tag and probably took a few years off Yankees fans' lives in the process. After dropping 3 in a row, make that back-to-back games with dramatic finishes and Yankee wins.
It was time to win the game, end of the game, we never quit, we never give in, and we needed to win that game, so we just came together and did it, We always talk to each other every inning, but, this inning we definitely helped each other and going into the at-bats and asking each other what the other one saw and everything like that, so I feel like it helped a lot.
Facing elimination, the Fort Saint Mary Buyers played with their season on the line for 2 consecutive games. But they had Keno and Nato, so obviously they were going to be fine. It's on to the semifinals.
Dominic Bridgewater and Keno Burrows said bonjour to the NM1 semifinals after helping Fort Saint Mary Buyers bounce back from a Game 1 loss to eliminate Orchez. Bridgewater went off for 17 points and 4 steals in a Game 2 win, while Burrows added 11 points and 8 boards. Then in the clincher, the Buyers handled business with Burrows scoring 8 points and Bridgewater adding 6 points and 5 assists. Next up, they face Mulhouse in the semifinals on May 28th, and the Bahamian takeover of France continues. Well, at least in the NM1 League.
That'll do it for Our Sports. This is 10YS, and as a people, we might want to be a little more concerned about what's happening in New York. Not talking about the Liberty, not talking about the Yankees. They'll be fine. But winning Knicks fans might actually be a pandemic. It's scary.
Thanks so much. Well, still ahead on our news tonight, a major achievement for a young Royal Bahamas Defense Force Marine, Michael Stubbs, has been accepted into the United States Coast Guard Academy class of 2030 with a fully funded scholarship. And Greg is back through extended weather when our news returns. Stay with us.
And Coca-Cola want to take you and your bestie to New Orleans. July 3rd through 5th is Essence Fest, and you could be traveling VIP style. All you gotta do is upgrade any premium lunch combo 1 through 12 or a salad to a large, like a spicy number 6, add cheese and bacon, or my personal favorite, tendies. Nola! We coming back?
Every year, car theft in the Bahamas rises. Thieves are getting smarter and faster. Is your car a target? Compact vehicles are at risk. Don't become a victim. Simple steps can make all the difference. Lock your car. Invest in anti-theft devices. Park smart.
This is our news. Welcome back. High pressure is still dominating our weather, keeping us with dry conditions, but breezy winds across the chain of islands. That will continue to keep us with some hazardous beaching and boating conditions over the next day or two before winds start to fall off. And some quick showers moving on the breeze will be affecting the islands. But we are taking a look at this blob of moisture in the Gulf of Mexico associated with a deep upper level trough that's moving across that area. That will slide towards the east eventually over the next couple of days, bringing us some increasing chance for some showers by the weekend. But by Thursday, we get a first douse, and then by Saturday, Sunday, more showers in the forecast, and we'll show you that in a few. Future forecast showing quiet conditions once again across the area. We will see an occasional quick passing shower on the breeze, but once again, the winds will be falling off, and that blob of moisture approaching the Florida area by Wednesday and into Thursday. Then by Friday, Saturday, more moisture moving across our area. Northwest Bahamas expecting some increasing showers. Boating forecast, still a little bit on the rough side out there. Small craft caution for the Northwest Bahamas. Rip current risk still remaining high. East to southeast winds, 15 to 20 knot seas, 4 to 6, but up to 8 feet in Atlantic waters. Low tide is at 11:54 tonight. Your high tide takes place at 5:42 in the morning. Central and southeastern islands, an advisory in place for you guys down there. East to southeast winds at 15 to 25 knots. Seas will be running 4 to 7 feet near shore, but building up to 8 feet offshore and in Atlantic waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, tomorrow looks pretty nice. We could see 1 or 2 quick passing showers. Moisture plume approaches us by Thursday, so we increase the shower chances there. Friday, another break, but by the weekend, we expect more moisture to move into the Northwest Bahamas. So we're looking at some very rainy conditions. So if you have plans for that time frame, do make some extra plans. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
All right, thanks so much for that, Greg. Well, a Royal Bahamas Defense Force Marine earning his place to study at one of America's premier military service academies. The U.S. Embassy Nassau recently announced that Marine seaman Michael Stubbs will head to New London, Connecticut, as a member of the U.S. Coast Guard's Academy's class of 2030. The RBDF Marine rose through the ranks of the RBDF Rangers program to attain the rank of commander before joining the RBDF as a Marine seaman in June 2025. The Nassau native and graduate of C.B. Bethel Senior High School will receive a fully funded education valued at over $500,000 and will earn a Bachelor of Science degree upon graduation. All right, congrats to him. If you want to see that story again, it's available now at rnews.bs. And with that, we thank you so much for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall-Thomas. We'll see you tomorrow night.